And hello, everybody. Good Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock. And Dean, every time I see that video of King Tut of Pamlico High School running right into that poor cornerback from Washington County High School, that gets me amped up for some football.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. Can't wait to get this show started.
Well, it's 8 o'clock. It's Wednesday. We should be getting ready for first week games tomorrow night. But unfortunately, we're starting the 2020 school year. But all of the students, or most of the students, are doing at home learning. And we found out this past week we're not going to kick off football to the end of February. So, golly, what are we going to talk about?
Well, we should be in Charlotte. Mallard Creek kicking off tonight should have been. So it's you go through your Facebook memories and all that stuff, and they pop up, and we're supposed to be at a football field right now.
We should be. Well, we've got 5 incredible people that we're about to bring on here tonight. Dina, tell everybody about these 5. We don't have to mention them by name. We'll bring them on here in a second. But how we came about bringing on some young student-led interns from across, really all corners of North Carolina. I think this is going to be a fun show tonight.
Well, we've always tried to help student athletes, and we have a great platform, and we wanted to help the youngsters. Got some interns that want to possibly go in this field when they get older and go to college, and who knows, we might have the next Kurt Herbstreak in here or something. I just throw that name out.
We might. And just a programming note before we bring these guys on, we were scheduled to have Arnold Solomon, Freddie Farkle coming on with us tonight. We were having some technical difficulties with him. So I think Dina and I are going to go on location out there to Kannapolis and sit down with the legend himself. And he is the legend. He's the true godfather of prep football coverage in this state. So we're going to have to bring him back later. But we do have the head football coach of UNC, Mack Brown, coming on with us later in the show as well. So stay tuned for that. But without any further ado, I'm going to start bringing these young guys on here and talk about incredibly talented young guys. And I'm going to do it by alphabetical order. So welcome to the show, Brianna. Say hey.
Hi.
Hey. Hey, there's Chelsea. Chelsea, you've got your.
There we go.
There you go. Chelsea comes to us from Sanderson High School, and
Brianna, she's from North Lincoln, and I think Chris accidentally knocked himself off.
Yeah.
So we'll just.
There we go. I lost myself. I was about to say. I think we lost somebody, and then we ended up losing me. We've lost one of our Jacks, Jack Palmuki. I knew I'd get his name wrong, but we got Jack Leary coming to us from Richlands High School.
Yes, sir.
And Tolly Hagler from Kannapolis at A.O. Brown. Can you hear us? I can't hear you. Let's see. Tally, if you can hear me, I'm going to tell you what you're going to have to do, and this happens from time to time, is you might have to log back out and come back in. So try that if you can. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, and we'll go get to Tally last anyway. And we're missing Jack from Ardrey Kell High School as well. But guys, these are some incredibly talented students, and they've already put forth some recorded videos that I want to start showing. And here comes Tally back again. We'll bring her back in here. We're going to start showing these guys' videos. Can you hear us now, Tally?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I got you. Great. So what we'll do is I'm going to go by alphabetical order. We're going to start going. We're going to start with Brianna and show off the work that they did. I had to condense these videos down considerably just to get them to fit within the parameters of putting them online during this live show. But I can't wait for you guys to see them. So with that being said, Tally, I want to say goodbye to you for just a second, and Chelsea, and Jack, and Brianna. It's time for you. So if you're ready, we're gonna show everybody this incredible video you did, and then we'll talk to you as soon as we're done.
Okay, sounds good. Good afternoon, and welcome to the first episode of Ballin' with Brianna. Today I'm here at North Lincoln High School, home of the Knights in Lincolnton, North Carolina. I am with senior Kaylee Beckley and sophomore Allie Lineberger from North Lincoln for volleyball. Looks like the schedule calls for conference-only games. Who are you looking forward to playing the most this year?
As a senior, I'm looking forward to playing East just because that's our rival and I'd really like to beat them. Just because, why not? Senior year, go at the bang.
Definitely probably East because sophomore year, last time in JV, and it's just a ritual to hopefully maybe beat.
What was your most memorable game of high school so far?
I kind of have two. My freshman year, I didn't really know how to play, but I got my first kill against Maiden High School, so that was great for me. And then my other one would probably be East Lincoln last year. I got really good digs, and I got another kill in East Lincoln. It's really hard to do that. So
Probably East Lincoln at their turf because I got to serve like 19 times and beat them, I think, 25-3. So.
Are there any pre-game rituals that either of you do?
I mean, I kind of do. I'm really superstitious. I do the same thing all the time. I put everything on left to right. Got to do the same thing. Most of the time, but as a team, we kind of just dance around and joke around. We play No Hands. That's kind of our song. That's probably it. We just dance around.
We definitely do our church clap dance a lot and just sing to every song.
Do you play any other sports or club sports?
I also play club volleyball in Hickory, and then I also play travel softball.
I play club ball at East Denver.
And Kaylee, is there any other advice as a senior athlete to the underclassmen and juniors?
As a senior, an advice I would give to underclassmen was have fun. Like, it goes by so much quicker than, so much faster than you would expect. I mean, and you never know if your year is going to get messed up, kind of like ours is right now. So just have fun. Don't stress too much about it. It's for school. Just have fun, really, honestly.
Brianna, I thought that was incredible. The first thing I'm going to
Thank
say
you.
is, boy, that outfit, that hot pink, it really stood out.
Thank
Look
you.
like the pro reporter right there. We've got her started off on her journey.
Yeah.
So in 5-10 years, when you're on the sidelines working either, some college games or ESPN down the road, we're going to remember that hot pink outfit. And I think that's going to be your signature. And I think you owned it so well that I think from now on, you're just going to have to go with those bright colors.
Yeah, I'll always go with bright colors, and I'll just bring it back, make it a retro game.
Tell us about the two young ladies that you talked with and kind of give us a breakdown of what to expect with the volleyball team and with those guys and their team this upcoming season when they are finally able to play.
Well, I did want to start with a senior and a sophomore to highlight, keep an eye out for the sophomore, Allie Lineberger. And Kaylee Beckley is a senior rising up at North Lincoln. So she's played a long time, and I've went to a couple games and watched these two girls, and the effort they have put in is phenomenal. Volleyball is pretty much their life, and they revolve a lot around it, and they put a lot of time and effort into volleyball. And with North Lincoln, the athletics have really grown a lot within the past 2 years, and volleyball was also one of those sports. And I wanted to highlight female athletes since football cannot start until February, and volleyball is one of the first sports starting. I decided to start with volleyball. And they were two major players that caught my eye watching. So I pretty much texted them. And North Lincoln volleyball, they lost a lot of good seniors this past year, but they have a lot of seniors, just like Kaylee Beckley rising up. And I think they're going to be a very hard team to beat this year.
Well, hey, don't get mad at me, by the way. I'm wearing one of your rival
Oh, goodness.
shirts tonight.
Lots of rivalry in Lincoln County with Lincoln, North Lincoln, West Lincoln, and East Lincoln. So a lot of good rivalry games for Lincoln County.
Absolutely.
Yes, I plan on wearing a different school shirt for every show, but I failed to forget. I forgot that you were a Lincoln County school, so
Hey, that's okay.
my bad on that
That's
one.
okay.
But Dana, Dina, you were quite an athlete back in your days, and I know you played volleyball and you were a three-sport star. Did you ever dress in those fancy colors when you were back in the day at Starmount?
What colors?
All that hot pink.
Oh, not well. Summer softball league, we wore a hot pink, pink tops, navy pants, pink stirrups, and then we're in the good old days, young days when we could stay out all day and play softball at a softball tournament all day in this heat. Couldn't do it now.
um, question before we go on, Brianna, have you guys started school virtually, or are you able to go to the school building this week?
We're doing 1 day a week for each, like a set of last names to do 25%. So I went on Monday, and then Tuesday is the next set of last names, and then Wednesday is for remotes, like the remote C plan learning, and then Thursday and Friday they have students, and then starting in 2 weeks, I believe we go 2 days a week.
Okay. I'm going to bring on Chelsea here now.
Hey.
Don't go anywhere, Brianna, because we're going to bring you all back here in just a moment once we go through all these different reports. Chelsea, you've got your work cut out for you. I think Brianna did a great job. What do you think about it?
Yeah. I loved it. I love the hot pink suit.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I thought it was amazing. I thought you hit a home run. And I can't wait to see what you got in store for us next week. And, of course, we'll meet about that and talk about that throughout the week. Brianna, don't go anywhere because we'll bring you back on here in just a bit. But we're going to bring Chelsea on here front and center. Tell us who you interviewed before we get started, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I did Jabril McNeil, and when you suggested someone from our school, I thought he was perfect, great kid, but also a prospect. And, he has multiple D1 offers. He recently cut his list down to 11. So I think he was a perfect candidate. And I'm from Sanderson High School in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I've always watched football, but I've never been that serious. So this was a little different for me, but I enjoyed learning about it and getting deeper into the experience.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's check out your work, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
All right.
So thank you for joining. And for those who will be watching, this is Jabril McNeil. He is the outside linebacker for Sanderson High School. So Jabril, what is your personal training schedule like? What has that been over quarantine?
I usually wake up around 8 o'clock. I go to the field. I got a complex right beside me. So I go there with my trainer. We do footwork, hip work, all that, so I can so I can stay up at linebacker. And then I come home, I take a break, I eat, and then I go lift. We bought a weight rack in put it in my garage, so I lift every day, make sure I stay ready.
And then looking back at your junior season, if there's a game that you would consider like a personal best for you or for the team?
I'd say Leesville for a personal best and as a team. They came in, everyone thought they was going to just kill us and snap the get-go. And then we made sure we was known. It was 7-3 until like halfway through the third quarter. Then we started getting lazy, slacking, and they started scoring. But as a team and personally, I feel like we did good that game, and we have a lot more to come in next year.
So with your top 11 schools, you're still uncommitted. But just in general, what has your recruiting process been like?
All these schools showing love. All them hit me up every day, make sure I know that I'm wanted there, and they would love to have me at their program. So I think all the schools have offered me.
Then on top of that, is there just anything special you're looking for in a program? Football, academics, coaching.
It's really like two things I'm really looking for. I love the work. I love putting in work. Yeah. Just I was built off from my dad. He taught us from day one we always got to put in work. So that's the main thing that school. If the school really puts in work, tries to be a business, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Another is like the love and the trust I can have with the coaches, the entire coaching staff. Because I'm gonna be there the next 4 years, and I got to trust them to help me get to the NFL.
And then, like you said, with NFL, any other goals? I'm sure the NFL is the ultimate goal.
I want to help do a lot of community service too. I get my platform, I get a bigger name. I can help out a lot of people. I could put food on a lot of people's plates. That's really what I want. I want to help out kids, specifically like kids, they're innocent. Like
Yeah.
whatever a kid does when they grow up, it's because they were so young. You gotta give them a right mind. I know I want to open up a personal training facility, so like I can help. I could train kids. I could train people high school. And then hopefully that goes nationwide. I'll make a lot of bank off of that.
Well, you're representing Raleigh well, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Here, I'll come back in here. I'm gonna bring, and there's Dina as well. Chelsea, I thought that was great.
Thank you.
First time ever. Jabril is a great football player. I know Coach Buck very well, and I know he speaks exceptionally high of him. I think, in fact, I think you guys are going to have a heck of a season. I think that Sanderson's a team that could be a lot better than the 4 wins last year. And Coach Buck is, he's a big time coach. I think he's got a chance to really bring the school up to that level with, obviously with Leesville and Cardinal Gibbons and Wake Forest. So I can't wait to see what he does, and also Jabril. But really happy with how your show came on, and I'm gonna bring Jack on. Jack, I caught you sleeping.
No, sorry.
Yes, so Jack, you and Chelsea are the 2 youngest guys that we've got on the team here. What did you think about our show?
I thought it was awesome. Obviously, I love people interviewing people from their local high school. So being from the same high school, like you said it towards the end of the interview, it looks like he's representing Raleigh and Sanderson High School really well. Obviously, him talking about wanting to do community service and using his name for the greater good. So I thought it was a great interview.
Yeah, that was a good question because, in the recruiting game, you don't get a lot of those answers, and that was a good answer. Speaks volumes of his character.
Yeah, he's more than an athlete for sure. He's a great kid.
I couldn't agree more. And Dina can speak to this as well. And, I always, when I interview recruits, I try to ask questions other than just the athletic conquest that they make on the field. Because when a player is getting recruited, the coaching staff, the college, they're recruiting the player as a person, the person's family, the player as a person, the character and everything about him. And I think asking questions like that just allows that true being to shine through, because it could be an answer like that puts him over the top of one of those schools.
And believe me, college coaches, they're watching everything. Social media, when we talked to Mack the other day, he's on social media, and his staff and all coaches are. So bringing up something like that, that's a big check mark for a coach looking at a player.
Yeah, I agree. And Dina's right. I speak to these coaches all the time, and they're always looking at your social media, seeing not just the post you make, but the post that you like, and things like that. So it's always great to keep social media clean, not just for the recruiting process, but life in general. You start looking for jobs and applying for jobs. I'm going to do the same thing. Well, Chelsea, please don't go anywhere, because we're going to bring you back on here in just a moment. But I thought you hit it out of the park again and did a great job.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. With Jack Leary, we've got 2 Jacks. We'll start with you. Tell us who you talked to, and man, I thought it was a great interview. But before we get started, just kind of give us the background of why you chose him and just how you went about doing it.
So I decided to choose my prospect as Kamara Edmonds from Havelock High School. And I really being from east of Raleigh, which there's not really a bunch of coverage east of Raleigh, so I kind of wanted to choose my prospect towards the East Coast. So I chose Kamara Edmonds from Havelock High School. And really, when you think about 3A high school contenders, Havelock is one of the first schools that comes to mind, with great history. Obviously, most notably, Pharaoh Cooper went there, but they've had some great players. And Kamara Edmonds is just the next person to come out of Havelock that's going to make a name for himself. Currently, he's committed to UNC, and talks a little bit about why he chose UNC and this upcoming season in the interview.
And before we get started as well, introduce yourself out there to all the audiences watching. Tell them where you came from, and you're one of two of our correspondents who are sons of or daughters of coaches. So just tell everybody who your father is and how you got involved in sports in the first place.
Yeah, so I'm Jack Leary. I go to Richlands High School, which is about 30 minutes from the beach near Camp Lejeune. A little two-way high school, but yeah, my dad is Eric Leary, who has been an assistant coach, a head coach, assistant coach at Southwest Onslow when they won a state championship, and he's been a head coach at White Oak High School. So being born into a high school coaching family, I really picked up football really early. I've gotten into basketball lately. So definitely that's how I got into sports.
Well, your segment's called Premier Prospects, and let's check it out.
So, welcome to the Premier Prospects part of the NC Prep Show. I'm Jack Leary, and the first Premier Prospect that we're going to be covering is Kamaro Edmonds from Havelock High School. He's a running back, top 30 player in the state. So, Kamaro, what are some key things that Havelock's been doing to prepare for the season?
Well, I mean, we've been practicing lately, so we've been just working out and stuff. We've been on the field. You know, we have to stay 6 feet apart, but
yeah,
just out there grinding as much as we can.
What were some of the goals and some of the things you were excited about for your senior season at Havelock?
Man, I just want to get a ring. That's all I want before I leave. I just want that ring with the boys. So
yeah,
just do what we can do.
If people don't know, you're committed to UNC. You committed about 1 or 2 months ago. Obviously, you had some great programs recruiting you, UNC being up there, some of the other ones. What was the recruiting process like for you? Was it stressful? Just give us some words to describe what the recruiting process was for you.
No, I wouldn't say it was stressful. It was just, I'm going to just say it was a blessing. It was great the whole time. You know, all the coaches were here. They were just recruiting me really hard. They texted me, called me every day. I mean, it wasn't nothing that was stressing me out. You know, it was just a great feeling to have that happen.
Yeah.
You know?
And so what were some of the reasons that what were some of the main reasons that you decided to go with the Tar Heels?
Well, you know, Coach Mack Brown, that's the GOAT right there.
Yeah.
You know, just the environment on and off the field, you know, the players, the coaches, the way they treat their players, you know. They treat us like family, the committed players. So
yeah,
I died the day, and they had the most checked. Like they pretty much checked off my list. So I feel like that was the best.
If you could describe your game in a few sentences, in a few minutes, what would be some main words, some main punchlines that would describe your game?
Man, I'm explosive. I'm a hard worker, and no matter what type of situation we in the game, I'm never giving up.
Yeah, that's definitely somebody that you would love to have on your team. Kamaro, thank you so much for doing this interview. You are going to have, hopefully we have a season. We do. I'm not betting against Havelock and Mr. Edmonds. So thank you so much for being on this interview, and good luck this season.
All right, Jack. I thought that was great. You did a great job. How do you feel about it?
I thought it was a good interview. As I got on, I learned Kamaro. He was a man of few words, but I thought all the words that he said gave meaning to the type of player that he was, what he was looking for. So he didn't say much about the things that he did say. It all tied together what type of person and player that he is.
Great.
He's in line. He's the next big prospect out of Havelock. Because Havelock,
for sure.
Proud tradition, state championships there. They, you know, and way before you guys is that time, Bruce Carter. Carter. He was the man at Havelock.
Another big Tar Heel. Well, now you see at the bottom of the screen, we've got Jack Pamuki, Ardrey High School. Jack, what do you think about Leary's interview?
Very professional, very to the point. The questions were also really like top quality. I love the describe your play. I'm gonna have to steal that, Jack. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of professional, Pamukki, and I got that right, didn't I?
Yeah.
Your interview was by far the most in depth. In fact, the original interview you sent me was about 7.5 minutes long. Unfortunately, I had to condense it down considerably. But I've got to hand it to you. The theatrical quality of putting the graphics, the overlay of other video and everything together with yours, including some music at the end. I thought you did a knockout job, and I can't wait to show the people. But before we hop on here, tell everybody who you interviewed and how you went about choosing him.
I interviewed O'Neal Palmer. He's a trainer / coach in the South Charlotte area. I've known Coach O'Neal since 8th grade, about 4 years now. He was my football and track coach. And I wanted to interview him first. First of all, this guy has like the biggest heart that I know out of like any coach, trainer. He cares about the kids first. And these prospects and everyone, we love these guys, these players, but they don't get to where they are without the coaches, the trainers, people like Coach O'Neal, who they're really there for everyone. Most of the D1 athletes in the area have probably worked with him or trained with him. So that just goes to show the reputation he has. He's a stand-up guy,
Well, Jack, here, without any further ado, let's check out your segment and let's enjoy. I appreciate it.
What is going on, world? No problem. This is Jack with NC Preps, and I'm here interviewing O'Neal Palmer, also known as Coach O'Neal. Introduce yourself, who you are, where you work, and who you work with. Who do you train?
I'm O'Neal Palmer, Charlotte native, graduated from E.E. Waddell High School. I coach middle school football, basketball, track, assistant coach at RG Kell. I own a company called Ace Skill Development that trains basketball, track, and also does strength and conditioning for youth athletes, also high school and college guys, and some pros.
And the people that you train, like what age range?
I have guys that are in their 20s all the way down to guys that are 7. So they range from college pros to elementary.
So when training or coaching, what ideas are you trying to get across to the kids you are training?
Well, I mean, I'm more basic skill. Let's master these basic skills before we go into learning a triple step back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Let's work on the basics of a pivot, or having the right pivot foot, how to step into a jump shot. Mastering just a basic pull-up instead of a turnaround fadeaway pull-up, which is not a bad thing when you get to a certain level, but most people aren't ready for that. So working on those basics, I really zone in on basics and also situational play. So if you came to one of my sessions, we would do skill development work for an hour or so, depending on what we're working on that day. And maybe we worked on ball screens or lift and drifts. And then we'd do live situational plays out of whatever we worked on. So if we worked on ball screen, reading the ball screen, we would play live situations out of it so that they can see the real game situation and how it is, and having to read and react to the right read from the defender.
Well, that's all the time that we have, but thank you again.
I appreciate it, Jack. I appreciate you bringing me in for the first interview, bro. I appreciate it, man.
You were the first person that came up, man. I couldn't think of anyone else.
I appreciate it, man.
Obviously, in here, let's bring us all along. And we got you there together. Obviously, I had to scale it back by a considerable amount. But Jack, that interview was incredible. Your interviewing skills already at your age is up there with some of the best of the best. And I can't wait to really see you attack some athletes with some of your questions and obviously your video editing and just what you brought to it. I can tell you're going to be a huge asset during basketball season, which, Dina, we get before football this year.
Really? Yeah. I don't even know that.
Yeah, Jack, you made a great point about the trainers. Mm-hmm. Because behind every good football, basketball player, there's always a good trainer. So, Good job.
Thank you.
And now you see that we brought Tali on. Tali, what did you think about Jack's work?
I thought it was a great interview. I especially like what you said about how behind every athlete there's a coach. I mean, these athletes aren't going to get where they are without the coaches pushing them to get there. So I think it was a really interesting take and different.
Yeah, Tally, I like that you said that because your dad's one of the best coaches, and I've seen how he pushes every athlete. How hard does he push you?
I would say that me being his little girl, like, he doesn't want to push me to the point where I don't enjoy the sport anymore, but he's always been available for me. Like, when I want to practice, he's available, and he'll write workouts for me when I ask him to and stuff. He's never to the point where it's down my throat to where I don't want to do it anymore. But I think that him not being so strict on me makes me want to do it by myself all the more. So.
Well, I saw you in the weight room a couple weeks ago when we spoke, and you were working harder than a lot of the boys I see. So I commend you for the work ethic, and I know when you play college ball here next year, you're probably going to be a step ahead of some of your teammates.
I hope so. Yes, sir.
Well, and please don't call me sir. But tell me, and lost Jack. Tell us who you interviewed and why you chose him, and I've got to compliment you even before we start. I thought that you may have had the best broadcast of all of them, and that's speaking highly because I thought all five of you did a tremendous job. But tell us who you spoke with and a little bit about how that came together.
Okay, so I spoke with Torrin Wright. I go to A.L. Brown, Torrin goes to A.L. Brown, and I've actually never spoke to Torrin before I interviewed him this time. But he's one of those people that you see on your Twitter page when you're scrolling. You hear him in the hallways when you're at the games, you hear him from the press box, and then, like me being a coach's kid, I constantly hear his name. And him and Cameron Cromack both came from Vance this past year, so not only are they good at A.L. Brown, but them just coming in being new that's why they're so special here.
Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get the interview.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Time Out with Tally. This has been a crazy week in the realm of high school sports as the North Carolina High School Athletic Association ruled to postpone all fall sports, including the decision to move football season to February. In this episode, I'll be getting the inside scoop from 2022 four-star outside linebacker Torrin Wright from A.L. Brown High School in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Here's Torrin. So, what are your thoughts on the decision to move football to February?
I agree with it just because it gives us more time to prepare for the season and keeping us safe.
So how is this delay going to affect you as an individual, and then how is it going to affect your entire team?
Me as an individual, it's going to help me get my grades up as high as I can get them before the season. And the team is going to help us build chemistry and be a better team this season.
So tell me a little bit about the offers and your interests and just the recruiting process as a whole so far.
So far, I have 4 great offers, and my dad always told me just go where you wanted. And so far, they're showing me that they want me. So.
Okay, and do you know when you want to make a decision about your future yet?
Probably about next year around this time.
Okay. Who's been your biggest role model so far, and why?
I have to say my parents because they always showed me how to work for what I want.
What are your future aspirations and plans? Do you see football as the end-all be-all, or do you see something past football? What are you thinking?
Right now, really, it's just going to college and getting a degree in business so I can just work for myself. But of course, my goals are to play in the NFL, be the best.
Okay, so just walk me through a typical day in your life, how you train, what you eat, and stuff like that.
Training, I just wake up, go work out, go home, eat. I really just eat whatever. Then work out again, and then eat some more.
Okay. And how have they been doing football workouts here, and how do you feel about the way they're doing them so far?
So far it's been pretty smooth. Everything's been outside. It's just been lifting what we can and running, really.
Gotcha. What advice would you give for the next generation of athletes?
Just work.
Yeah.
Just work.
Okay.
Tally, I thought that was tremendous. I also like that you two were doing your social distancing. So you did a great job.
Thank you.
the only thing that I could have even negatively said about your videos, it sounded like you had an attack of all the bugs and all the crickets.
Oh, yeah. The cicadas here are horrible right now. I mean, they're outside right now. You can't hear them as good. But, yeah, they're bad.
No, it was absolutely amazing. Dina, what did you think?
Oh, I like was that at the front of the schoolhouse?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the main building. The
I
columns.
went by Arnold Brown a couple of times, and it was a pretty neat setup there at the front of the school.
It's a beautiful campus.
It certainly is. So I'm going to bring the other guys back on. It looks like we lost Jack, our other Jack. But Chelsea, Brianna, Jack, what do you think? How do you think it went? What do you think about your other teammates' videos? And Brianna, since you went first, I'll give you the floor first.
Y'all are so talented, honestly. For the first time, I was not expecting that, but y'all are so good that I could see y'all definitely doing this stuff like later in the future.
Yeah, totally agree. Look, we're already getting some comments on here. Langston, who's my colleague on Monday nights with Talking Preps with the Charlotte Observer, he said, "Is that a Lincolnton jersey?" And Langston, you're correct. I'm going to try to wear a different school's jersey every night. So I had to give a shout out to Coach Joe Glass and his Lincolnton Wolves. In fact, Joe Glass also commented on there. So I appreciate you guys.
A Lincoln alum made big news today. Sage Surratt going to opt out of playing this year and going to go to the next level.
Sage Surratt also is ranked second or third in NCHSAA points scored. Like behind Jameson Curry and all them, Sage Surratt is in the top 3, which I thought was kind of interesting that he was a star in 2 sports in high school.
The state player of the year in football and basketball.
Yes,
that's an incredible feat right there.
Absolutely. Tally, you play pretty high level athletics, and you're going to go on and play at the next level. What was your thoughts on him opting to not play his senior year and go ahead and prepare for the NFL? Obviously, because of the pandemic and all the virus and the uncertainty with that. But what do you think about that?
I'm sorry, I cut out for a second. Who are we talking about?
Sage Surratt, who played at Lincolnton High School, East Lincoln. He announced today that he's going to forego the season at Wake Forest, one of the best receivers in the ACC, and because of the uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic, and he's going to go straight to preparing for the NFL draft. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, if he's certain that that's what he wants to do, I mean, I'd say that's fine. Look ahead to the next step. I don't see a problem with it.
I agree. Any other? What was your biggest challenges in coming up with your segments this week? I love that you all came up with your own names. Balling with Brianna might be my favorite. I thought that was an incredible one. I also liked your time out with Tolly. I thought you did a great job, and also the music and putting it all together. But how did y'all? How was it coming up with your segment, and how much fun did y'all have with it?
I had a lot of fun doing mine. I actually I got the Creative Cloud from Adobe, using Premiere and everything. So it took me a long time to kind of figure that out. I usually have we have a newscast at school that I work with. I usually have Coach Tyler Buckwell right there helping me through it. But I try to do all my own, so it just took me a little bit longer this time.
Well, I think you guys set the bar high. Chelsea, you hit a home run. Both Jacks. Chelsea, I'll let you get a comment in here. How do you feel like you did, and what's next? Who do you think you want to talk to this week?
Well, I love doing the interview, and I think it's great because, with the technology we have in this pandemic, it helps so much, and it really opens up the opportunities to ways to interview. And I'm kind of looking around in the Raleigh area. I know Millbrook, which is a rival school, does have some top athletes. So if I would interview a rival, it would probably be one at Millbrook.
I think that's a great thing for all of you guys to do. In fact, I suggest it here real soon is to step out of your comfort zone, Dina, and interview someone from a different school. What do you think about that, Dina?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we kind of wanted interns from all over the state. So, you can branch out a little. Jack P, he's got the big area of Charlotte. Jack Leary, you got Eastern North Carolina, dude.
All of it.
So,
East of 95 is yours.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got 95. So, and Chelsea, lots of talent there in Raleigh, and Brianna, you're right there in a hotbed of football where you're at, and Tally is right there in K-Town, right there in them in Concord, one of the best rivalries there is.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. In fact, I think our next task for you guys might be, and then here's another one of the head coaches down in the eastern part of the state. I think our next task might be for you guys to recruit a friend and add more to this team. You guys know so many people with the social media out there. We certainly need to find someone in the far western regions of the state. But
And
I think this is a
northeast.
home run by you guys.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you, for sure.
Guys, I'm going to release you for the night unless you want to stick around and check out Dina and I talking to UNC head football coach Mack Brown. You're certainly welcome to come back afterwards if you're still here. But we're going to let you guys go because Dina and I are going to talk with the head football coach of the Tar Heels. But again, Jack, Chelsea, Brianna, Tally, for me, I think y'all did an incredible job, and I can't wait to see what else you guys have in store for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
All right.
See you next week.
We certainly
See y'all.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll give you guys the night off. Dina, they did a great job.
Yeah, they're making us look a little bad, Chris. Man, technologies. These kids. Like I told you one day when we talked, we were lucky if the local newspaper or the radio came and broadcast one of our games. They got Twitter, Facebook,
They got it all.
Instagram, all this stuff, Periscope, live streaming. Heck, it's a new wave of technology.
It certainly is. You really put our next interview together. I mean, I want to give you the credit for this. I mean, we both know him, but you really truly jumped through the hoops with the university and the athletic department to get this next interview. So go ahead and tell us how cool it is for us, I guess, to be able to get Coach Mack Brown on with us.
Well, Coach Brown, a legend, Hall of Famer, doing a great job at University of North Carolina, heading into his second season as the head coach of the Tar Heels. And, he's a busy dude. And for him to be a part of this show, the first show, speaks volumes. We really appreciate Max taking 10 minutes of his busy day because, they were practicing on Monday and just wanted to talk a little high school football with him.
Absolutely. And Brett Hickman, the head football coach at West Brunswick, you see what he says, Dina?
Well, I can't. No, we're good. We're a team. So
that's right. But I appreciate you watching, Coach. But anyway, we did just for the disclaimer, we did record this before we came on here today. So just to throw that out there that it's not live now, but it's still a great little interview right here, and we hope you guys enjoy. And Dina, we'll be right back after this. All right, and hello, guys, and welcome back here to the NC Preps live video. Pleasure to be joined by the head football coach of the University of North Carolina, Coach Mack Brown. Coach, we appreciate you coming on with Dina and myself today to talk a little bit about some high school football, and just a pleasure to have you on, sir.
Thank you, Chris. It's great to be on. I appreciate what you and Dina do for high school athletics in this state. Coaches and players are lucky to have you. And I was so disappointed to hear we're not going to play this fall. first time in my life, I guess everybody's, that's been a high school football fan for years, that we're not going to see it in the fall. And I'm really going to miss Friday nights. It's going to be tough, but thank goodness it looks like we're playing February 22nd. So appreciate you guys helping so many young people get some exposure and get evaluations during this difficult time.
Well, thanks a lot for that, Coach. And you're right. I mean, it is a different time for all of us to be involved, not only with just high school athletics, but just athletics in general. But the topic of this show is obviously the high school football side of things. And first question I really wanted to dive in and ask you was, since your first stint as the head coach at UNC, and obviously your time before that even at Appalachian State, how has the landscape of North Carolina high school football as a whole, with the evolution of talent and the population driving up and just everything, just tell us how high school football has changed since your first time here and now here the last year and a half?
Chris, the first thing I would say is that with the population growth, there's so many more players in this state than there were when I was here before. And it's just so evident. I mean, you start looking at, there's still a lot of guys in the East that are a little bit hard to find because you have to drive to find them. But places like Charlotte, there weren't this many players in Charlotte when I was here before. And now it's a mecca of high school football when you go down there and look in Greensboro and just across Winston-Salem, across the state. Our coaches are doing a great job. I'm really proud that High School Coaches Association, that a group of us started 30-something years ago, is really flourished now, and it's going really strong in Greensboro every February. So I like what I see, and hopefully with us being here, we can really promote high school football in this state and help our coaches.
Hey, Coach, thank you for being here. I'm going to piggyback a little bit off what Chris said. You have been in Texas, so you've seen high school football at that level. And just compare it to North Carolina, and do you think North Carolina can compare that gap, that the prestige of Texas high school football, and what's the stature and improve their stature in the national scene?
Dina, I do, simply because our coaches are superstars. Some of them don't even work at the school. They have another job, and they do such a great job of coming over with assistants, some that aren't in the school as well, and they've done a great job of coaching these young people. And we had a Zoom clinic when they told us we couldn't go out for spring recruiting every Wednesday. And we had a different coach on every Wednesday, and it was so well attended that our coaches want to learn, and they want to do a great job. And last year we had over 400 coaches that came to our clinic. So I feel like that we're in a great place right now with high school football in this state, and will continue to grow.
Well, Coach, I've been to some of your coaches' clinics and listened to you talk about how important high school football is. And I often say that high school football is the backbone of all schools, and it's really the fabric of the communities that we live in. But just tell us and the people out there watching why you feel that football is such an important component, not only to the schools, the growth of the student athletes, but also just the community in general.
I was lucky, Chris. I was raised by a grandfather named Eddie Jelly Watson, and he was winningest high school football coach in Middle Tennessee history for a long time. And he took me to so many colleges to watch them practice. And I was riding the bus with him when I was 4 and 5 years old with a little letter jacket going to his games. And the stadium's named after him in Cookeville, Tennessee at Putnam County High School. So I really learned the importance of high school football at a very young age. And I grew up with it. I used to sit and watch film with him. At that time, his film. We didn't have video, for sure. And we wouldn't have college football without high school football. It is the feeder system. And these coaches do a great job of getting these young guys prepared for us. And we wouldn't have the NFL without high school football. And the guys don't get paid what they should. they're worth a whole lot more money to the community and to the school and to these kids, because they are a voice in each one of these towns and cities. So they just do a great job, because they coach for the love of the game and the love of these young people. They don't coach for the money, or they wouldn't be doing it. So I just feel like that these coaches are the spirit in their communities. They're leaders in their communities, and no more important time than now with COVID to have them taking care of families and kids and making sure that everybody holds it together here during these very difficult times. And their attitudes were wonderful when we'd have our Zoom meetings. I started every one of them off, and you wouldn't even know that things were bad out there, because they're picking it up. And great leaders take crisis and turn them into positives, and that's what these guys are doing.
Coach, you mentioned playing high school football in the Middle Tennessee. How was your playing high school career in Tennessee, and what eventually led you into the coaching field?
Dana, we were lucky. I had an older brother, Watson. I have an older brother, Watson, that was a year and a half older than I was, and he was the quarterback, and I was the tailback. And even at that time, we started running the run and shoot, so we were spread out and throwing the ball all over the place, and it was a lot of fun. I caught 66 balls as a junior in high school from my brother, and then I had to play quarterback and tailback my senior year. But the other thing about high school coaches, they're so important. David Bucky Pitts was my high school coach. He was an All-American at Middle Tennessee State, and he served in our military. And to this day, he's one of the strongest influences in my life. And if you start asking everybody, list the 5 most important people in your life, guys that played high school football are usually going to go back, and they're going to talk about their high school football coach. And especially if we won all the games my junior year, and we're still very, very close as a team. 2 of our guys on that team have come to see us play once a year the 32 years that I've been a head coach, and they came last year to our Duke game. And it's really, really important to me that you keep those ties together, because your friendships that are built by sports and camaraderie and team and winning that were established by that head football coach are ones that are friends for a lifetime.
Well, Coach Brown, I really appreciate your time and getting on here with Dina and myself and the whole entire crew with everybody watching at NC Preps. Before I let you go, just any final words that you want to give to the student athletes, any message from you before we let you go today?
Yeah, Chris and Dina, number 1, thanks for all you do. Number 2, in talking to all of you student athletes out there, the most important thing for any of us, that's Chris, that's Dina, that's me, that's your coaches, your principals, is that you're safe. So talk to us. We've got to do a better job with the social injustice out there and COVID out there. We've got to talk to each other. We've got to communicate. So don't be scared. Don't get upset. Ask us. Talk to us. Because there's not a coach or person or principal or superintendent in this country that wants you to play unless you're safe. And I think that's our message. So even if you're at practice in February and you don't feel good, tell your coach, Coach, let me step back a little bit here. I'd like to talk to a doctor. We're fine. We're fine. We just want to make sure you're safe. And I've told Bubba Cunningham and Chancellor Gustowitz, safety is the first thing for me. As long as they're safe, let's play. I'm excited about it, can't wait. But if at any point we don't feel like they're safe, and I wouldn't want my son or my grandson playing, then we shouldn't play. So for you young guys, trust your adults, trust your mentors, trust your coaches, because they want what's best for you.
Well, Coach, thanks again for joining us. For Dina and myself, thank you, and have a great season, and we appreciate you, sir.
Thank you both. Stay safe and take care of yourself.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you, Dina.
That was a great interview, Dina. I thought that went really well, and just so thankful to Coach for coming on and spending a few minutes with us.
Yeah, and Coach Brown, he's a pretty good high school player, so he's got some talented football players down there in Chapel Hill that might not know Coach Brown could play a little football.
He went to Vanderbilt and played at Florida State. So, yeah, he was a pretty good little player back in the day.
Yep.
I think next week, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the lineup for next week, but I can't have Coach Brown on without at least extending the offer to our guys over at NC State. So we'll reach out to Coach Doran or Coach Clausen or maybe one of the other guys in the state and try to spread the love around and get some of these other coaches on.
We have to be equal. We got seven D1 programs in the state, so we will have them all on if they all want to come on one day.
Absolutely, and even I was thinking about some of the coaches there, like Catawba and Lenoir-Rhyne and Mars Hill. You know, we've got some incredible programs, and what a better way for them to get their faces in front of the high school players than coming on here and talking some football and just talking some sports with us. But I thought that went great. We had another guest for tonight, but was unable to make that happen due to some technical difficulties. So, Dina, I think we're going to have to pack up the car and go down to Kannapolis and do a sit-down interview with the great one, Arnold Solomon.
Yeah. I had a good question for him today. I was going to ask him if he could, Freddie Farkle could predict we're going to have football.
Yeah,
at some point, you know, I know the High School Athletic Association has pushed it back to February, so, but it's just a wait and see game.
Yeah, it certainly is. It looks like we still got Chelsea in the room. I don't know if she's ready to come on camera or not, but she's still kind of hanging around watching the show. Chelsea, I see you're still here sticking around. You're the only one that stayed.
I know. I'm a huge Carolina fan, so I think it's cool to watch Coach Mack Brown.
Well, we've got one show in the book, so we're going to do this every week at 8:00. Here before long, I'm going to kind of give the reins to you guys and let you guys run the show, and Dina and I'll just sit back here and watch. Are you guys ready for that?
I look forward to it.
Did you learn anything from looking at some of your other guys' segments?
I did. I think everyone did so good. Sometimes I think the hardest thing is coming up with questions. So definitely hearing their questions gave me some ideas. And I like how we did trainers, you know, people other than football. I think that was really interesting.
Yeah, you got free reign on many sports, you know, coaches, you know, any unique kind of stories in your area or whatever. But like I said, it was, y'all did an outstanding job. It's going to be, I think we've kind of created a situation where one's going to try to outdo the others. And you know, they set the bar pretty high the first show.
I think they did. I really think they did. Well, I am excited about it. You guys did a tremendous job. I've been sitting here. I probably spent about 4 hours editing all the videos to kind of get them to fit. So at least now that we know the parameters and the ball field to play in, you guys know we can make sure that they're to the right time limit, and that's all good. But Chelsea, I had a great time. I thought that it went well tonight, and I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for us next week.
For sure.
Dina, I'm gonna let you end the show. You're the boss lady here, the queen of high school football recruiting for sure. So I'm gonna kind of give you the last word before we head out here.
Well, I enjoyed it. Glad everybody could tune in tonight and join us every Wednesday night for these talented kids. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We got an Instagram page. Reach out to these kids. Reach out to these interns. They're in your area. If you know, give them some ideas. You know, if you want to be on the show, hit them up. So just wanted to thank Chris for being the control man behind the video, a little bit of everything. So had a great time, and hope to see you guys next week at the same time.
Absolutely. And one thing before we go, Dina, and I had some people asking me, and I just wanted to bring it up here, the 2020 Prep Football Yearbook. We still have some of these left to sell.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sure do.
Guys, I know that we're not playing until February now, but I'm telling you, this is just pages and pages and pages of information. Get on the ncpreps.com website. It's got the ordering information. I think that you should do yourself a favor. You can see the cover. We've got some great athletes. Unfortunately, a couple of them aren't going to play now, but I still think that makes it a collector's item if for anything else.
Well, I know. I'm like, 2020 has been a wacko year, so I decided to bring the book back in the middle of coronavirus. So, it's still filled with great information. Schedules are wrong, of course, with the season being pushed back, but still got a lot of information on players for the fan, because we know we have some of the best football fans in the whole country here in North Carolina. Some rabid fans, because we've run message boards forever. We know what kind of fans that love their high school football here in North Carolina.
Absolutely. Got some more comments. This is a Concord guy, by the way. So, hey, Eddie, I appreciate you guys getting on. I appreciate all you guys for watching it. For Dina, for Chelsea, for Brianna, for Jack, for Tally. I think they did a great job. We'll see you guys again next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And maybe if we have some breaking news, we'll always try to come on earlier if we ever need to. But had a great time. Dina, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.